Good long swig of water. Welcome to Glue Wednesday. Yes, we're waiting for the audience to build. We got less than 2 minutes, and we'll start. So if you're on the broadcast, we'll start now. Hey, Pat. What's up, Hazel Eyes, homegirl? Good to see you. Welcome to Glue Wednesday. And the reason, by the way, as anyone should know, the reason I call it Glue Wednesday is because so often people say that Wednesday is hump day. And with me, I love to play with the English language. Hey, Ronnie, I love to play with the English language. And so I've decided that Wednesday is not actually the middle of the week for everyone. Some people's work week actually start on Thursday. Some start on Wednesday. So, but in a traditional 7-day week, Wednesday is the middle, and it keeps the weekend and the week beginning together. So I call Wednesday the glue. And that's why I call it Glue Wednesday, because the key is we need to keep it together rather than hump to get over. All right? And then, of course, we know that our glue, G-L-U-E, is God's love undoes everything. Not that it takes your stuff apart, as in undoes, but as whatever the challenge you had in the week beginning, God's love will undo those for you so that you can have a better weekend. And so, and that's a victorious cycle. I know a lot of times people say a vicious cycle, but you have to want a victorious cycle in your life as well. And if we spend more time recognizing, we like to say God is good all the time. Well, all the time does not mean a lot or many or several. It means all. So we are always actually not trapped in a vicious cycle, but triumphing in a victorious cycle. So keep remembering to look for the blessings and you'll find them. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Hey, Eva. All right. So yeah, you look for the blessings and you'll find them because they're there. And it's 12:30. Let's get started. And that walks us right into today's topic, because today's topic, I found this list. And I must admit, I can't even tell you the source because the source is not on it. But I found a list. When people send me stuff, I tend to save everything. Hey, Jasmine. Hey, what's up, homeboy Ken? And so this is a list of what are the benefits of being positive. Well, I love that. That's right in my roundhouse, because I always say that I will help you stay positive and powerful when positive and powerful don't seem like an option. But we always have to make sure that we know we have that option. So here are 11 things. I already gave you one in the intro about how in a study, hey Zach, a study of nuns, those that regularly express positive emotion lived on average 10 years longer. So I call it my SK glue twist. And so I just say, yeah. So people who pray want to stay around. But you know what it also says? Because we have to recognize that since all our prayers get answered, because haven't you said to someone, be careful what you pray for? Oh, wow. We're warning ourselves against praying. No, we're saying that we believe that the prayer is going to come true. So you want to be specific in the way you pray. That is one of the keys. Be careful of what you pray for, because you're going to get, Earl at the hospital praying for speaking of prayer, pray for my big brother Earl, my lawyer at the hospital, okay? But you are going to get what you pray for. It may not manifest and come out the way that you prayed, like what you were looking for. God, I want this to happen, and this is how I want it to look. That might not happen, but it will come to be. So therefore, again, that's why I say people who pray, they want to stay around longer, because they want to, if they know that they're in a victorious cycle, they want to see how their prayer comes to manifest. And so they can give God more glory. The second thing on the list, it says positive work environments outperform negative work environments. Positive work environments outperform negative work environments. Well, we would say, yeah, obviously, but you know what? It's so true that when you're in an atmosphere of positive people, you'll do better, because you'll have better coworkers, and you'll better have a better team reaction to what's going on. So your work environment needs to be positive. If you're in a negative work environment, what you need to do is check with yourself and see how you're contributing to that negativity. And sometimes you contribute to the negativity, by the way, by not not stepping in and being positive. You know how you can say, oh, well, they just negative, I'm gonna just leave them alone. No, no, no. You're giving them power now. What you do is, if they're negative, you step in and you be positive and let them say, man, this person's always positive, I'm gonna stay away from that. You know, it's, you gotta let it be your world. Okay, so you don't, if you recognize negativity, then you need to make sure that they recognize positivity. So you be positive in your work environment and help yourself get through. Number 3, positive, optimistic salespeople. So this goes right toward the work environment. Positive, optimistic salespeople sell more than pessimistic salespeople. Why? Because an optimistic and a positive salesperson is focused on the benefits of what they're going to give you. These days, people don't really sell you anything because their reputation is on the line. So what they want to do, and if you're in sales, what you want to do, you don't really want to sell somebody something. You want to be able to provide a service. And the only way you really make money is never on that one-time sale. You make your money on your referrals and your repeat business. So therefore, if we're looking to make sure that we get the right results from what we provide someone, that, you know, being an optimistic salesperson, that's what's going to be helpful to you, because now people say, oh man, I enjoyed working with him or her, and so yeah, I'm going to buy from them again. In fact, I'm going to tell such and such to buy from them. And P.S., by the way, don't be one of those people. You know, they say that when we get bad service, we'll go out and tell 10 people. When we get good service, we don't tell a soul. Get out and share the good service that you get from wherever you go, especially if you're doing something with a small business. Please support our small businesses and let somebody else know. It won't make you lose any of their services. They'll actually get better because they'll have more customers. One of the things that I tell people in my speaking business is I try to keep my fees marketable so that I don't have to focus on my economics when I should be focusing on the message that I need to deliver for your audience. So man, that's a lot that you charge. Well, I need to have that freedom to not be worried about, you know, is this going to pay a bill? You know, when I get that off my mind, when I can just be free and comfortable to create. Hey, what's up, Peanut? When I can just be free to comfortable to create, I'm dynamic. And so are you. So that's what you want to do. You want to be an optimistic salesperson. And that point I was making, please refer small businesses and refer the good service that you get. And by the way, if you go to a restaurant, you know, maybe it's a popular restaurant, you know, so you're, oh, well, I don't need to tell people about Chili's, or, you know, I don't want to give too many restaurants a shout out, but give the server who you use, you know, your waiter or waitress, put their name. I do TripAdvisor, by the way. That's a good way to review different hotels, restaurants, service that you get, places to travel. Zet, the trip that you just made, you could actually put in TripAdvisor. I actually don't put my trips in TripAdvisor, but I just thought of it. That's what that's for. If you've ever looked at TripAdvisor, one thing I always do when I do my reviews of restaurants at TripAdvisor, I will put in the server's name, so that when someone goes to that restaurant, they can ask for that person. And because I've already given them a good reference, they ask for that person. Now that person, guess what? That person gets a chance to get even more money in terms of a tip, because they've been referred by a good source. And especially when they turn out to be as good as I said they were, you know, even if you're letting them know that you were referred by such and such, they may not remember. I mean, they got a lot of customers, but just knowing that someone referred their name is going to boost their spirit up, and they're going to give you better service. So please make that referral. Number 4, positive leaders are able to make better decisions under pressure. Positive leaders are better able to make better decisions under pressure. Why? Well, because they're calm. They're much more calm. And why are they calm? Because they have faith. What else? They have trust. They trust in their people. See, a leader who trusts in their people won't panic, because when the tough time comes, they'll know, you know what, I've got a team that can handle this. And so I don't need to go into panic mode. All I need to do is put everybody into mode. I say, okay, guys and gals, here, we're up. You know, here's what I need you to do. Here's what I need you to do. Do this the way you know how to do it. So positive leaders trust their people more. So if you're in a leadership position, that's going to make all the difference in the world. You'll be showing your people how much you trust them by how you handle yourself under a pressure situation. Because if they see you panicking, they know that means you don't believe that they're going to get it done. And remember, everybody's got a small part in getting it done on the team. So if there's any part of the team that I'm not confident about as a leader, that's going to cause my pressure or me to look like I'm cracking under pressure. I love it. Okay, here comes number 5, and I'm going to just be reading this one, but I still got some say-so on it. Marriages. Marriages are much more likely to succeed when the couple experiences a 5-to-1 ratio of positive to negative interactions. Whereas when the ratio approaches 1-to-1, marriages are more likely to end in divorce. So do you hear what that's saying? Marriages are much more likely to succeed when the couple experiences a 5-to-1 ratio of positive to negative interactions versus a 1-to-1 interaction. So in other words, you see, it takes a lot. You need at least 5 positive reactions to knock out a negative, because negativity is powerful. You know, we know that. So let's not be in denial. Negativity is powerful. And you need 5 positive reactions to overcome that negative one. And in fact, you need to crush out how that negativity is. One of my pet charity is heyugly.org. And I'm going to post their site in there. But it's a website for teens and tweens, helping them fight self-esteem, bullying, suicide issues. And one of the things that we do when we present to youth audiences, we tell them to take their 2 fingers and take a negative thought and put that negative thought between their 2 fingers and just squish it out. So when you get a negative thought, that's what you can do. Just take that negative thought, I am stupid. Somebody that gave you that thought, somebody said that I'm stupid. Put that I am stupid in between those 2 fingers and just squish it out. Squish out that negativity so that you can stay positive. So you need 5 positive thoughts. Where can you get 5 positive thoughts? You can look around. Let me tell you, when I lived in Chicago and I was going through the bankruptcy process, because I went through bankruptcy, I went to housing foreclosure and my car being repossessed. Well, when they first came and got my car, and I need to change that pronoun because obviously it was not my car since they came to get it. But when they first came and took their car, I went and sat in my living room and I pointed out, I said, well, that's my stereo. Those are my curtains. That's my TV. This is my couch. That's my kitchen. So they were 5. Well, it wasn't my kitchen. I was about to lose the house. So let me come up. And that's my lamp. So there were 5 things that I had positive that could overcome this potentially negative situation of them taking their car. And it really wasn't a negative thing. It wasn't good for me, but guess what? I needed to now figure out, instead of me whining about it, I need to figure out, okay, now I'm going to need to get around. Because I was in Chicago living in the suburbs, public transportation wasn't the greatest option. It was an option, but you know, the further out you live, the slower the buses run to get to the train that you need to get to that train, okay? So I found 5 positive things. So I'm saying to you, look around in your life. And you can find 5 positive things that are going on in your life to outweigh that negative one. Especially, even though this is saying marriage, but it's in a relationship. And the relationship, yes, we're talking about a spousal relationship, but it's also in your one-to-one communication with the different people in your life. Because we do get into arguments with our friends and family. So again, look for 5 positives to outweigh that negative. And coming right behind that, positive people are able to maintain a broader perspective and see the big picture, which helps them identify solutions, whereas negative people maintain a narrower perspective and tend to focus on the problems. And that's something that we all have, by the way. It's called a negativity bias, where when we first get into a tough situation, like that pressure situation I talked about for the leader, When we get into a tough situation, it's easy to think of the negative outcomes that could flow from our situation. Oh my goodness, this happened. This is going to happen, and they're going to take this away, and now I'm going to lose it. It's easier. That's the negativity bias, and we all have it. Think about when you see something happen, when we hear about somebody dying. First of all, who among us has not had somebody lose their life? Not minimizing it, but usually first we say, oh no, they died. Oh man, they too soon, too young. I can't believe it. What can't we believe? We have people die. So I'm not saying we don't go through that mourning stage, but let's at least recognize the sooner we can get to, and it's not a fast process always because we all handle grief differently. I will acknowledge that. But the sooner we can get to the happy memories, because we like to talk about how, well, what they say, that people should cry when you enter the world and laugh when you leave because you're out of this nonsense. Think about that. That's one of those cliches we use, and it's really true. So when somebody's time is up, when God calls for somebody, sure, we're going to go through that process of feeling that loss, but what we want to do then is start thinking about the happy memories. Why is it that you feel this is such a loss? It's because you can think about all these good things that you had happen with that person, and you want to get to where you can celebrate them. You're going to mourn for them. You're still going to cry. Like I tell people all the time, I have absolutely no intention of getting over my mother and my father's death, and plenty of my friends. I'm not going to get over it, but I'm learning to live with it. And so, and I don't want to go too far off the deep end on this, but the point I'm making is we all have what's called a negativity bias, that whenever something happens, we immediately go to what the negative outcome will be of that. And I think that talking about death was just one of those good examples to talk about an extreme of something that we can't turn that situation, we can't turn the situation around. We can't bring them back to life, but sometimes we have situations that go on in our life where we automatically go negative, and they are things that we can actually turn around. So you can turn around some of those things by overcoming that negativity bias and finding those 5 positive things that you can bring in. Hey, Joey, now speaking of 5 positive things, the guy who just got on the broadcast, his name is Joe Fiorentino, was my first boss at the Wall Street Journal, the guy who gave me my first chance in corporate America, hired me as a messenger. And I worked at the Journal for 18 years. And every time I got a promotion or did something, he was proud of me because he was the one that brought me in. And so, and I was proud to be representing to say, Joe is the one that brought me in. See, that's what I'm saying again. You can find 5 things that are positive that have happened in your life or are currently happening in your life so that you can overcome the negativity. Thing number 8, and I've only got 3 more, and we're going to make it in less than half an hour. That's great. Thing number 8, positive thoughts and emotions counter the negative effects of stress. Oh, wait, I skipped one. Positive people who regularly express positive emotions are more resilient when facing stress, challenges, and adversity. Positive people who regularly express emotions are more resilient when facing stress, challenges, and adversity. In other words, you need to talk about your challenges. So, who can you talk to? Find someone that you can talk to when you're having that rough moment. And we all have someone we can talk to. Let them know that they're going to be that person that you're going to call upon. So, but we don't need to hold it all in. No emotion is wrong. Our reactions and the outcome of what we do with those emotions can put us in a bad state. But no emotion is wrong. So when you're feeling something, or as they call it, some kind of way, find someone that you can talk to and share that. But last week we talked about suicide, and that's one of the things that can combat the suicidal ideology, and that is having someone that we can talk to, because that will make you more resilient when someone, just like we said at the beginning, when we know that someone is praying for us, with that leader who trusts his team. You see how they all come together? We become more resilient when we express, and there's a good word for us, Ronnie, release. when we release our feelings, we bring people in who can help us, because God will send the right people your way. Positive thoughts and emotions counter the negative effects of stress. For example, you can't be thankful and stressed at the same time. Think about that. You can't be thankful and stressed at the same time. Yeah, all those love emojis go up. Yeah, because we're talking about sharing, and we are who we need to share with. But here's the thought. Positive thoughts and emotions counter the negative effects of stress. For example, you can't be thankful and stressed at the same time. Have you ever said to someone, oh, I just got so much on my plate, I don't think I could take another thing on my plate? Then 30 minutes to an hour later, you're encouraging a friend by saying, oh, God wouldn't give you more than you can handle. Think about it. You either believe that my plate is so full I can't take another thing, or you believe that God wouldn't give you more than you can handle. The two, you don't have an option. You can't get political and walk the middle line on that. You've got to choose one. Do you believe that you can't take another thing on your plate, or do you believe that God wouldn't give you more than you can handle? And I say to you, you can pull them both together, because if you can't take another thing on your plate, well, if you believe that God wouldn't give you more than you can handle, switch from a plate to a platter. It's a mindset. Yeah, I can't take another thing on my plate, so I'm going to switch to a platter, because I got so much on my plate and I like what I have on my plate. See, why do we always have to think that our plate is full of negativity? We can have a plate full of positive stuff, because that's what we're pouring into our lives. So when you're pouring it into your own life, it's nice of you to allow me to pour some in, but you have to pour it in, and you've got to cultivate it. Jesus said, throw the seeds, not aim them. So I'm throwing you the positive seeds, but if you don't catch them and let them and nurture them and let them germinate and work in your spirit, there's nothing I can do. So I need you to do your part. Make sure that you find those positive thoughts and emotions, and then don't walk the fence. Be thankful, because you can't be thankful and stressed at the same time. 3 more to go. Positive emotions such as gratitude and appreciation help athletes perform at a higher level. And we've seen that all the time, right? What do athletes say? Next man up. When someone gets injured, sports pros have to play the whole season. They can't stand there and pine about losing the first game of the season, or the fact that they're on a 5-game losing streak. They got to play the whole season. So they are used to having losses. When a team shoots less than 50%, they can shoot in basketball. They can shoot 40%, and that can be considered good. In baseball, if someone's batting 300, but 300 is considered, whoa, they are good. But you know what? That's 1 out of 3. That's 3 out of 10. That doesn't sound like great odds, 3 out of 10. Don't we always say 9 out of 10 times? See, so you got to recognize that, athletes, they perform at a higher level by staying positive. I heard, what's his name? Oh my goodness. Anyway, the guy on the Warriors, where who shoot the other Splash brother, because it's Stephen Curry, and he was being interviewed, and he didn't shoot well that night. And so they interviewed him after, and they said, well, what did they do to you in defense that stopped you or slowed you down? He said they didn't do anything different. I had a bad shooting night. Yeah, that's it. He said, no, it's about me. It ain't about them. I'm positive, so I don't care how many people around me are negative, because it's about me. I can out positive any negative person 1-to-1. Think about what we said earlier. You need 5 positive thoughts to outdo 1 negative. See, 1-to-1 is tough, but I can out positive a negative person by having my 5. It's when I've got to go against, when those numbers are different and it's 5 negative to 1, I don't have a chance. Okay, so be positive. 2 more. Positive people have more friends, which is a key factor of happiness and longevity. Now, are they talking about Facebook friends? Not really. But that could be one of the ways you go. But here's the deal. We have a need for social connection to combat and offset stress. We need social connection. It's an important part of our being able to deal with stress and staying positive. Connecting with the right types of people. I always say, choose your messengers carefully and recognize that someone is choosing you as a messenger as well. So choose the people in your life. We always say, well, you can't take it all with you. Well, why are you trying? There are people that you just don't, they don't get to stay around in your life. And, you know, some people can say, well, that's a negative message. You know, you can't be judging people. No, yeah, no, you're not judging them. If someone's not good for you, for what you're trying to do with your life in this moment, then you may need to move that person out of your life, even if it's just putting them on pause till you get what you need. Now maybe you can bring them back in because, you know, what you've got going off is positive enough to offset any negativity that they may have been bringing into your life. P.S. By the way, let me also say, negative people are not necessarily bad people. They could be one of your closest friends, but the fact that they're afraid and they bring you a negative spirit by saying, oh, you shouldn't do that, I'm worried about, over worrying can be negative and drag someone down, even though you're doing it with their good intentions, with good intentions in your heart. You can drag somebody down by being over concerned for them. So there's a lot of things that we need to look at. Ronnie, be positive and you always be better off. Yes. People come into your life for reasons and seasons. Yes. And the reason and the season you can't control, because the reason that someone comes into your life, whenever that thing happens, you refer to that person. Here's the reason that person came in my life. The lifetime, because every time you think about that, that person will come to mind. The season is what you can control. How long are you going to let that person stay in your life and keep bringing that message to you? When are you going to learn the lesson? If it's a negative one, you know, you have to control the season that people stay in your life. And Robert said, no one wants to be around sad sack. You don't. But guess what? That means that you also can't be the sad sack. So make sure that goes both ways. Don't look to stay around people that bring your energy down, and don't be the one that brings the energy down. And so the last one on this list that I found, positive and popular leaders are more likely to garner the support of others and receive pay raises and promotions and achieve greater success in the workplace. In other words, when you're positive, it's going to help you in that work environment that we talked about earlier. And we all need one another, okay? We need to be around positive people and be positive, all right? When you do your job, everybody will benefit from it. Even technology, by the way, technology still needs somebody to turn the light switch, the power on and off. So being the positive person may be what helps you in your job when technology moves a department out. So stay positive so that you can be the person that they say, well, you know what, we're having a layoff, but we're going to keep this person. Because let me tell you what happens in office environments. I lived in the corporate environment for 18 years. What happens in those environments, you've got a lot of different people with a lot of different agendas going on. And again, they're not necessarily bad people, but as people are trying to improve their career, get different education so they can get a promotion and a raise, what's going on in their family, you don't know all of that stuff. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So we want to be around the people that help us stay positive and move up. Joe, I don't know if Joe is still on, but one of the things I always laughed about when I tell people about my Wall Street Journal career is that out of my 7 promotion and 8 job titles, I really, on the books, I only qualified for 2. And what happened is, because I was in already, there were times where we had an interview process and the requirements that would have been in a job ad that you might answer, that if I were answering that ad, I would not have gotten the job because I didn't qualify. But because I was in already and I was with the people who were making the decisions and they knew how I would put myself to the task and learn it to my best ability and do it well the way they needed it done, and how I would help with the esprit de corps of the department, that which is the attitude, you know, that they say, well, yeah, no, we're going to bring Sporty in and we'll let him learn as he goes. That's what's going to happen, y'all. So stop getting all caught up about, oh man, my supervisor's a pain and these people are negative. No, you don't know what your supervisor is going through. You don't know how some of the negative people are washing off on your supervisor. And so sometimes what they end up doing is treating you the same way they treat other people, because they don't see there's a difference. They see that you're more teaming up with them. And believe me, it's a close one there. I don't want you to go and be picking sides at your job, but what I want you to choose is you. Choose you. Get your relationship with your supervisor as well as your relationship with your coworkers, which comes from what? Making sure that you have your relationship with yourself. So let's see what like the song goes, everybody needs somebody. Yes, that's true. And the cookout on the 4th of July, I won't be there. Okay, I'll be somewhere else. But you know, it's beautiful that we all need one another. So I'm going to close with my acronym for my book, Ac-Firmations, that I have on the word positive, POSITVE. Praise outshines sinister intentions. Trust inspires value in everyone. Praise outshines sinister intentions. In other words, when you say thank you, when you tell somebody how important they are and praise them, going back to talking about those leaders, when you tell somebody how wonderful they are, like Precious, who just got on, Precious Paul, and one of those wonderful poets that I met, when you tell them that, it outshines any sinister intention that somebody else may have. So give people praise. Trust inspires value in everyone. When I know that someone trusts me, won't I perform better? Won't you? When you know that someone trusts you. So think about giving someone else that trust, and it will help them recognize that you value them. And when we feel valued, then we tend to do a better job of delivering. Because we figure, well, you know, we don't always have to get the pat on the back, which goes back to the praise. We don't have to get, you know, pat on the back for every single thing that we do, or at least not the same type of praise. You know, you don't get a raise for everything that you do, but you like to be acknowledged for the fact that you just did your job, even if it's the minimum. Because if everybody at least does the minimum, sometimes that's all we need. On every given day, your 100% changes every day. I know people say, I gave 110. You don't have 110. You have 100% to give. And some days your 100 looks different. So please just give your 100% every time you can. Recognize that positivity makes a difference in our lives. So I hope you can go back and look at the broadcast and remember the 11 things. Or if you'd like me to send you a list of them because somebody sent it to me, send me your email address to sportyking at sportyking827@yahoo.com, or put your email address in the message, and I'll send you the list of the 11 so that you can keep track of them. But that's what we need to do, because we want to have the ways that we combat that negativity. We want to have it as our automatic pilot. As my military people say, hey, Chet, he just joined us. That's one of my South Carolina Army National Guard people. We want to have it in our rucksack. And a rucksack is like a suitcase for civilians. And so it's having everything that you need for when the time comes. You can't wait for negativity to hit for you to suddenly be Mr. or Miss Positive. You need to start practicing it while you've got people who are supportive of you being positive along the way. So thank you. God bless you. Stay positive. And again, if you like a list of the 11 benefits of being positive, just send me your email address and I'll make sure that I get that to you. And speaking of email address, you can always go to my website and connect with me there. I got my fun letter on there. I've got inspirational sayings. I got a blog on there. I've got products you can buy. Right now, if you haven't had a chance, if you haven't seen it, I've got my Joy t-shirts coming out. Joy, J-O-Y, just one you. Worth celebrating because you are special. Thank you. God bless you. And I'll see you next week, where I'll be broadcasting from being on the road, okay? I won't tell you where till I get there, but I'll see you next week on Glue Wednesday. Thank you, God bless you, and ciao. Amen. And hey, by the way, Robert, amen, A-M-E-N, a message everyone needs. We all need to hear the right messages. Thank you for being with us, brother. And me and you, we go back to, what, second grade or first grade? All right, man, be good, ciao.